Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you clicking on my video today. I hope you're doing well. I am still zinging off of last weekend's Midwest Fiberfest. I don't know if you got a chance to see that video. I'll link it down below, but it was really an exciting day for me when I didn't come home with any yarn. But one of the things that I was kind of going over is they were handing out little bags like this while supplies last, and I got one because I was there early, of course, and it totally took me back to going to the county fair with my parents, with my family when I was little. I was one of those that would take the bags and take the free samples of everything. I want everybody's business card. I want everybody's ballpoint pens. I want everybody's notepads. I want everybody's everything. So, of course, during the event, I was so caught up in all the yarn I didn't even look into the bag. And when I got home, I was looking through it, and it offered up a lot of flyers for future events. So that was great. Some a little bit far and some very far. So, but it was nice to get, websites and things like that and be able to go look at more yarny stuff. But one of the things, the two things that I kept that were in the bag was I got a great little magnet. So I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it, but that was fun because that's something that I, like my table right here, it sticks to my table legs because they're metal, but I'll have to find some place to put that. And then the other thing that I wished I'd have looked at the time was, I don't know if everybody got a winner, and it was something simple that everybody could get, but it was something for free, and I didn't get, something for free from a yarn event, and I didn't get one. So I was kind of bummed out about that. But other than that, I did pick up a pen from the Leading Men table, and so I love that. Here it is again. Super rainbowy. I love that. So I've got a great little canvas bag, and I'm sure I'm going to be giving it to Astrid to play with, my little granddaughter. We went to Walmart and they gave a little sample of some Clorox stuff in a really small blue canvas bag like this, and I gave it to her and she loved it. But anyway, okay, so on to the crochet talk. So I finished up a blanket that had been sitting on my unfinished shelf for a little while. I did a video on the stitch. I did a tutorial for it, so I'll go ahead and link that down below. It was called Winning Ways. And I want to nod my hat, or whatever you say, to Caron Big Cakes. I really like the Caron Big Cakes, and I had bought a bunch of them in different colors over time. I'm not sure whether they were eBay purchases or actually bought them from a store, or bought them online or whatever I did. But I have a bunch of odds and ends left over. I do have 3 colorways still left. So this one is called Blueberry Pudding, and I absolutely love it. I've got 2 of these, and each one of these cakes is 300 grams, and it is 100% acrylic, and it is machine washable and dryable. It is a medium weight 4. It recommends a 5mm hook. So we've got 603 yards in each of these cakes. So I've got 2 of those left. I love those. And then the other one that I still have left is this one. I've made a corner-to-corner blanket in it already that we use in the house. And this one is called, it's right here in front of me, Boysenberry. So of the scraps that I've got left over from all the different colorways, I do have some of this one. So I took this out of my scraps consideration because I still have a cake that it goes with. So I'll hang on to that together. But otherwise, I measured out the rest of the scraps that I have from this project that I'm about to show you, as well as the rest of them. And I've got about just over a cake here of mixed up different colorways. I still have some of the bands for the colorways that are in here. One of them is Citron Fizz. That was a really cool black and hot pink and neon yellow one. I'll insert pictures of the full cakes here. And one called Blueberry Scone. Now these are called Blueberry Pudding. So why are you gonna have a scone and pudding? I don't remember what that one was off the top of my head, but I'll have to look it up and put it here. And there was another one. It's blues and grays. I absolutely love it. I did one of Hook by Robin's blankets in this. It's like one of the first ones that I did in it. I'll have to figure out what colorway that is and insert the picture as well, because I really like that colorway. But the colorway that we are talking about today is called Toffee Brickle. And I used under 2 cakes. So if you've got 2 cakes of these Caron Bit Cakes, you can make one of these. Here is my color layout. Look how beautiful. Now, it was on the unfinished because I wasn't sure how long I wanted to make it. I had gone through a stage of making just lap blankets, and so I stopped at the lap length and decided I really wanted to wait to finish off the blanket to see if I wanted to add more to it, because I still had so much yarn left over. So I always pick my stuff up upside down, so I want to pick it up right side up to show you. So I started with the blue, and I wanted to work, and I just, as I do sometimes, most of the times, a lot of the times with these color changing cakes, I just continue on. I don't tie off each round. So this is just using color after color. You know, I finished one cake and I tied on the next one. So I started it with blue and I wanted to finish it with blue. And then I just started to go around in single crochets with the yarn that was tied on. So I started the blue, you know, I ended that row and just started to do the single crochets. So in some sides, like on this side, you've got a blue row and then a gray row and then a red row and then an orange row. But at some point I was deciding, or I was finding that one round of the color was longer than the whole blanket around, and I didn't want to overlap so much of the same single crochet color. So at one point I decided to go ahead and tie off and do the next color, you know. And so I got to a point where I didn't realize that at the beginning of a round. So here I am with my orange, and then I decided to go ahead and allow the yellow. Here's my orange, and I decided that the yellow needed to have some presence as well. So I went ahead and tied off, but it was only the end of that row, whoops, and the next one that has the yellow. So I've talked about this before in not doing, not tying off for each round. I really like how it gives you a different look around the sides of the blanket. You know, you're not going to have the same color rounds here that you do here. So I kind of like that. So I decided to go ahead and keep going until it was a bigger size. And I just had a little bit of the scraps left over, but this one is 50 inches long by 33 inches wide. So I thought that was a really good size. And again, I wanted to go around with all the colors of the cake, but I didn't realize that I wasn't doing that until, you know, I kind of changed my mind mid-project, which happens, so it's not the end of the world. But I really, really liked it. And so I was super glad to get it finished and share it with you guys, because it was sitting over there for so long. Gosh, I like it. I also didn't want the border to be too fancy schmancy, because I like the pattern being in the blanket and then the border clearly being like just the clean border. So so yeah, super glad I got this finished. And then I started working on I went ahead and opened up one of these skeins. If you this was a Hirschner's order that I got, something that I didn't know I was ordering. You got to read the little instructions or the little descriptions a little bit better than I did on this night. But I wanted to start to use it, start messing with it, figure it out, whatever. And I decided to, you know, when I opened it and put it on my Swift to take it out of hank form, I decided, why even try to ball it up, because my ball is not made for a size 7 yarn. So I'm just going to leave it on my Swift and work it off of that. So let me go ahead and show you. Hold on a second here. So I wanted to show you when I dug into this, because it was such a wackadoo thing for me. You know, I purchased something that wasn't what I thought it was. So I have to figure this out as I go. It's a 70% acrylic, 30% wool, jumbo size 7, and it recommends a 15mm Q hook. The colorway is Moorland. All right. And this is the color. You can see here, it's a very beautiful changing color yarn that's, you know, mixed along the way. And so my cue hooks that I have was one from my mom's stuff. This is a boy hook. It doesn't have a date on it. I looked around real well. Out of Chicago. I don't know how old it is, but here's this cue hook. And then she has a set of these that are absolutely gorgeous. And I never thought, you know, how accurate could they really, really be? So here's the little engraving on each. I'm trying to get you to see it there. See a little cue that's scratched into the hook there. And so I thought, okay, let's take a look at those and see how similar they are. So, of course, the first thing that we notice is the size of the head that's going to be pushing through and pulling through. Like, that can't possibly be the same. So I'm not sure, you know, look how skinny that is. How is this fat 7 supposed to fit into this little hook? So there's like a love of what this one can do based on how it pulls the size, you know, the size there that's going to pull the yarn versus this one. And then there's the love for this one because the size of the head, you're going to make a bigger hole than this one. So I started to work them up a little bit just to kind of see, just to play with what I was looking at here. And this one is, I just did some single crochets and then went in the second and came back over to keep it simple. And that's done with this one. And it was really, really hard to not pull extra fibers or leave fibers behind with both hooks actually. And this one is then with this one here. So if I am going to work this up, which no, when I do work this up, I'll probably use this one because it, you know, makes the hole so much bigger. But now that I've been to Fiberfest, this looks like the batting that they use to make the yarn. Like, am I supposed to spin this, or is this the finished yarn that I'm supposed to work with? So that was just kind of goofy for me to figure out a little bit. I still want to look at doing some finger crocheting because I haven't done that before. So I'll take a look at that and report back to you on how this goes. So I can't believe I started this in November and it's just been sitting on my shelf over there waiting to see what's going to happen to it. I chained 121 chains to get started. I'll link the tutorial down below because I think it's a really great pattern, and used a 5mm hook. So if you've got about 530 grams of a 4 worsted weight yarn, you too can make this blanket. All right, guys, thanks for sitting with me today. I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day, and please come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.